Hi there, Aria here, and welcome to week 5 of covering the artist's way. This week, I'll be going and diving deep into my notes of what I found to be really interesting and enlightening in week 5 of this book. And I hope you will join me and follow along and that you find some insights as well. So, week 5 of The Artist's Way is all about recovering a sense of positivity. Positivity? No, possibility. But this week was definitely a positive week, one for me. It was a positive week for me. So, let's go ahead and read what this week was about. So, this week, you're being asked to examine your payoffs and remaining stuck. You will explore how you curtail your own possibilities by placing limits on the good you can receive. You will examine the cost of settling for appearing good instead of being authentic. You may find yourself thinking about radical changes, no longer ruling out your growth by making others the cause of your constriction. In other words, out with the perception of being good and in with being your authentic self, your most authentic version of yourself. Because sometimes, and really a lot of times in life, when we're trying to be good for others, it's just masking who we really are on the inside. And you really don't you want to live your life being the type of person where people see you truly for who you are and see your true colors and the vibrancy and the amazingness of you? I sure do. So that is something that has really stuck out to me for this week. Another one is this one quote: "We unconsciously set a limit on how much God can give us or help us. We're stingy with ourselves." Oof. Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, there's so many instances where you look at all of your external circumstances and you might think, oh no, there's only the set list of possibilities that can happen into my life. There's only a certain set of things that can come into my life. But really, what can happen is not limited, is not a culmination of what is around us, of what surrounds us, but rather who we are and things that we bring to us. And if the universe or God chooses to bring things to us, it can be something completely out of left field. So let's open ourselves up. Another quote. Ooh. More often, what we are talking about seems to be a conscious partnership in which we work along slowly and gradually, clearing away the wreckage of our negative patterning, clarifying the vision of what it is we want, learning to accept small pieces of that vision from whatever source, and then one day, presto, the vision seems to suddenly be in place. In other words, pray to catch the bus, then run as fast as you can. So, wow, that is definitely something that has happened to me. All right. And it says, for this to happen, first of all, we must believe that we are allowed to catch the bus in the first place. Instead of standing still and looking at others and what they're doing and comparing ourselves to others, we must believe that we can and will achieve our dreams. Only then can we move forward. Only then can we take those steps and slowly walk, then jog, then go into a full on sprint to catch that bus, basically into the next chapter of what we want to achieve in our lives. Here's another one. One reason we are miserly with ourselves is scarcity thinking. We don't want our luck to run out. We don't want to overspend our spiritual abundance. Again, we are limiting our flow by anthropomorphizing God into a capricious parent figure, remembering that God is our source and energy flow, that likes to extend itself, we become more able to tap into our creative power efficiency and effectively. In other words, let's get out of scarcity thinking. Let's get out of that scarcity mindset and be open to anything and everything that the world has to offer to give us in a positive and amazing way. Very often, when we cannot seem to find an adequate supply, it is because we are insisting on a particular human source of supply. In other words, like I said before, when we're looking around at what's around us, we're thinking that it will come from this person or that person, when really that's not normally how things manifest. You have to just learn how to let things flow and let it figure itself out and not where you actually will it. Because often when you do that and you're like, okay, I see this external force, let me put as much force as possible into making sure that this happens, it might end up being the opposite effect. You might actually be closing yourself off without realizing it. It's like when you want something so much, when instead you should just kind of let it go and then let it, and then it will flow to you. So it's a really interesting thing, this chapter. I mean, I feel like this past week has really been a test of, am I going to be the type of person that will just continuously work and work and work and work and work to the point where I burn myself out? Or am I going to do what I know I can and should do, but also give myself grace, not burn myself out to the point of utter exhaustion, which is something that I have done in the past. So that is an amazing, amazing thing. Another quote that I found really enlightening is part of Margaret Young's quote that says, "You must first be who you really are, then do what you need to do in order to have what you want." So often people will skip that first step. They kind of skip who they are and figuring out who they are, and instead they'll just do something that they need to do. They'll say, okay, I want to, for example, oh, I saw this in a magazine. I should go ahead and write a book. So I'm going to go and write a book. When they really don't know, is that something that truly calls to them? Is that who they are? Are they an author? Or are they someone that's more into writing articles? Are they someone that's even more into songwriting? Are they someone that's more into doing short stories or poetry? First, we need to figure out who we are. And then after we figure out who we are, then we're able to take that action. Because when you go through life and you don't even know the first thing about yourself except what the world is telling you, you're not viewing it from the inside and in your heart and what you know is true in yourself, then that's when you end up swaying and going a completely different way than you intended to. Basically being swept up in the current of the world and the current of society rather than honing in on your inner compass. Here's something. It says, I have seldom seen it pay off in a linear fashion. It seems to work more like we shake the apple tree and the universe delivers oranges. See? There you go. That's exactly my point. You go around shaking the apple tree and thinking, okay, if I just shake this apple tree hard enough, then I will end up getting apples. And then what happens? Without even trying, here comes an orange falling to the ground. So there you have it. That's really kind of the point of this chapter, where you just have to kind of let things go a bit, because you really should expect the unexpected. Wow, here's another one. Ooh, I really liked this one. It was great. An artist requires the upkeep of creative solitude. An artist requires the healing of time alone. In other words, introverts, do not be scared of spending time alone. Don't feel guilty of spending time alone. Really hone in on your craft. And if you love quiet, then hey, go for it. I'm the same exact way. Even though I consider myself, I guess, INFPs are considered the most, like the extroverted version of introverts. But yeah, I'm an INFP, and I definitely love my quiet time, my time of calm and relaxation. So, yeah, an artist does require the upkeep of creative solitude. And even for extroverts, it's the same thing as well. Without this period of recharging, our artist becomes depleted. Over time, it becomes something worse than out of sorts. Death threats are issued. Okay, that hasn't quite happened to me, but I guess. So here is one more quote that I will leave you with before we kind of go into what to expect for next week for chapter 6. So here's one. Are you self destructive? This is a very difficult question to answer. To begin with, it requires that we know something of our true self, and that is the very self we have been systematically destroying. So, really, this is by you being too nice to others, are you eating away at yourself? Are you, by you helping to fulfill other people's dreams and filling up other people's cups, are you making it so you don't have enough to drink? Where you are becoming so dehydrated that you are losing sight of your dreams while you are making sure that others find success in theirs. So that is something that you really need to examine and look into. That's something that I thought about a lot for this week. And thankfully, I feel like I haven't really gotten to that point yet, which is good, really, really good. But also, I tend to be a champion of other people's dreams and wanting them to succeed and be the best version of themselves. So, in turn, I need to make sure that by helping those people that I don't end up taking away from myself, because ultimately, if I can't be the best version of me, then I can't help other people achieve. And that goes for you as well. All right, so doing the check in. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? I did my morning pages, though truthfully, there were a few days this week where it was like I said again, 2 pages in the morning, 1 at night. Did I do my artist date this week? I took myself to a movie via Netflix, so I guess that kind of checks out. I watched some K-dramas, well, a few episodes of a K-drama, so I guess that checks out. I mean, there's nothing like a good K-drama to feed my inner artist. What can I say? I love great character development. I love plot. I love especially like great comedy and laughter. Did you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? Ooh, that sounds like that would be a great thing for me to experience. I haven't yet experienced that, but when I do, that would be wonderful. And were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? I believe there were. I believe that I've been recovering pretty well. So, week 6, this is where we get into some nitty gritty. Recovering a sense of abundance. This week, you will tackle a major creative block, money. You are asked to really look at your own ideas around God, money, and creative abundance. The essays will explore the ways in which your attitudes limit abundance and luxury in your current life. You will be introduced to counting. Oh, really? Counting. A block-busting tool for clarity and right use of funds. This week may feel volatile. Ooey. Okay, well, looking forward to that week, even though it says volatile. Not scared at all. No, sirree, not me. And I hope that you found this to be really enlightening. And for next week, don't be scared. We'll get through it together. So until then, I'm Aria. This is Aria's Universe. And have a wonderful wonderful day, night, or whenever, and I will see you next week. Bye.